Hey guys, thank you for joining Let's Talk Business. Y'all actually caught me right after work, so that's why I'm dressed up. I hope y'all understand, but let's get to talking business. So, as I told y'all, we were going to talk next about credit cards and some easy way to get out of some debt if you have any kind of credit card debt. Um, At least right now, I'm going to only talk about the small amounts. Maybe in another video, I could talk about larger amounts. Here's at least a way that you can pay this off at maybe a better interest rate, or, you know, just to cover more of the principal. But as I was saying, so in order to cut your credit card debt, you really have to cover a lot of the principal at once. Now, whenever you buy that and you don't pay it within 30 days of that period, your next pay period will charge whatever amount that you had and then also add around 20%. That's what the average credit card interest rate is. So if you bought a $100 item next month and you didn't pay, it's now going to be 120, and then the following week it also builds on. It doesn't go to 140, it will go to 142, just because it's a compounding interest. So it like builds on itself, and it just can drown you in that. If you are only paying the minimum amount that the credit card company asks you to pay, usually you're on track to pay about and finish paying whatever you borrowed in like 30 years. And usually you'll end up paying them more than you actually even borrowed. Like probably close to, you would pay about 3 to 4, maybe sometimes 5 times more than you actually even borrowed. An easy way to get out of this is, one, is you can open a new credit card. And I know this sounds, you're like, oh, I don't want another credit card. But the thing is that there are credit cards out there that have a 0% interest for 18 months, at least. I know that is out there. I had even got one myself and did this myself. That means that you are really just going to be paying the principal the entire time, which means you're just paying back whatever you borrowed, and nothing added to that. Whenever you do that, you open up this new credit card, you can actually transfer the amount on your other credit card onto that one. And usually they will charge you, but nowhere near like anywhere close to 20%. It's more so like 4-5% that they'll charge you to transfer that much that you owe on a different credit card onto that credit card. So you can finish paying off this credit card and cut it up. Just don't use it. You don't want to use that credit card, because then now you'll have to worry about both. After you're done paying this credit card off, you only have to focus on this one. Whenever you do that, you can now just focus on paying this off and not charge anything to this. You have to remember, right now you're trying to save money. So you're not charging anything to this account just because you want to finish paying this off. If you don't finish paying this off in 18 months, usually they'll charge you somewhere to the same amount that the other credit card was charging you, or sometimes even more. Coincidentally, whenever I did it, it even came out cheaper. They charged me a smaller interest rate than my previous credit card company was. Honestly, it just depends in the situation. Obviously, your credit score comes in play. That's pretty much all of that it is. Got to make sure to pay within 18 months, and in doing so, once that is completely paid off, you can then close that credit card account if you'd like to. Sometimes they have rewards. In my case, I'm actually keeping that credit card and then closed out my previous. I don't like to have too many credit cards. Like I said in the end of the last video, I encourage everyone to use your debit card, not your credit card, because instead of borrowing money with interest, I can just pay it off now if I can afford it. with my debit card, and I can also still keep track of it. When using your credit card, you know, you're just borrowing money and they're charging you to borrow their money. Why do something like that whenever you have the money now and nobody's going to charge you to use your money? Next, like I said, it just depends on the situation. For this case and scenario, you have to have at least a 670 FICO score. So like if you check Credit Karma, it gives you an estimate of what your credit score will be. It's safe to assume maybe a little less. You go to the bank and you take out a personal loan. Now usually the banks are charging less interest than the credit card companies. So after you take out a loan, you actually want to use that money to then pay off all your credit cards and then only have to worry about one payment that will be towards the bank at a cheaper rate, at a cheaper interest rate. You will be saving money regardless. You will be saving money. Obviously, you want to get the closest thing to 0% interest rate. Regardless, you'll still be saving money. You know, I'd say if you have a pretty good credit score, there will be somewhere around 10 to 12%. And honestly, you can't find that nowadays in credit cards. Just something to also keep in mind that credit cards, the most that they can actually charge you in interest is 29.99%. And if you see that a credit card is charging you that amount, honestly, I'd try to go somewhere else, anywhere else, just because they are taking complete advantage of you. And I know it's like a tough pill to swallow. Somebody has to tell you. As I was saying, so what was I saying? Those are two ways that you can get out of your credit card debt a little bit faster and a little bit cheaper. It's up to you, but remember, you have to try to pay off that credit card of 0% interest within that time limit that they tell you. Secondly, what we learned, banks charge cheaper than what credit card companies do. So any kind of way of saving money, it's still saving money. Obviously, you want to try to be as selfish as possible and just kind of keep it all to you. Thank you for joining, and I'll see y'all later.